Cheers! Welcome to Movie Bitches! Oscars 2018, the 90th annual.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Like we did last year, we thought we'd kind of go through. I've done much better than in the past. I've seen every Best Picture nominee except for Dunkirk, because I just don't want to.
And I've seen every Best Picture nominee.
Of course, we haven't seen any of the foreign film, which is a bummer.
It's a shame, but I'm not surprised.
I mean, exactly. I'm always like, oh, I want to see that, and then I never do.
I should really watch all of. Oh, didn't get around to it again.
Actor in a leading role: Timothée Chalamet, Call Me by Your Name, which we reviewed.
Timothée
Chalamet. Chalamet. Yeah, that's what you called him.
He was very good.
He was good. I thought he was the best part of that movie. I think he's a good actor. I don't think that necessarily he needs to win Best Actor yet.
Well,
I think nominating.
Everybody knows who I want to win.
Oh, well, of course.
My favorite.
Well, so let me get there. So Daniel Day-Lewis, Phantom Thread. He was good.
He was very good.
He was very good. Daniel Kaluuya, Get Out, I thought was great.
Ooh, yeah. Like doing everything with nothing. Like
right?
that frozen face and the crying. Yeah. Ooh, I still want Gary to win because he's gonna win. Mm-hmm. But I love that and I am excited, and if he won, I would be very excited.
Sure. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour.
Love it!
And Denzel for Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Wow, which no one saw.
No one saw. Daniel Kaluuya, for me, is apparently, scandal-free. So...
Sure.
I'd be happy with that.
I'm not trying to apologize for Gary Oldman. I don't know the details of the situation.
That's fair.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
Things are weird right now, and I just don't know.
Yeah. It was an excellent performance. Oh, we also reviewed Darkest Hour, so you can watch that. So, actor in supporting role.
Ah, yes.
Willem Dafoe, The Florida Project, which you watched.
Fabulous. So I watched The Florida Project. The same guy that did Tangerine, Sean Baker.
I like Tangerine.
Willem Dafoe was my favorite part of the movie. He was fabulous. It does a really good job of humanizing poverty instead of victimizing it. Where I feel like a lot of Hollywood movies about poverty, it's like, oh, look at them, poor them, oh, fuck them, oh, look, they just got totally fucked, their life is fucked, they're fucked, and you're just like, oh, God, this is horrible, And while this isn't happy, it does a good job of being like, this is their life, they're just living it, and it humanizes them in a way that I appreciate it. Basically, it's like this little girl, she's living in a motel, basically, right across from the Magic Kingdom from Disney World.
Right.
And it's like purple, like all of the colors and the sets are all really kitschy and beautiful. It kind of reminded me of Hannah. When they're in like those weird carnivals, like old, and you're like, what the fuck is this or whatever. It's like, the 50s. Remember the 50s? How that was great. Like it's like this sort of decrepit backdrop of the Magic Kingdom, right? So that helps it be lighter because you're like, oh, but look, this is beautiful. Oh, but also this is like a good juxtaposition of, it was good. I liked it a lot. And Willem Dafoe easily could have been, he's basically the manager of the hotel. Okay. He could have been this like gross, villainous asshole, but he's really like looking out for them and he's just trying to do the best he can, and it was like, oh, I'm so glad he didn't turn into like a creepy rapist or like a pedophile or like an asshole. And I was like, yeah, he doesn't. It's great. The casting was kind of insane. Like, it was like, I feel like he just found these people at this hotel.
No tits allowed.
No alcoholic beverages in pool area.
Okay, I'll do that, but I still want to go topless.
I'm pretty sure that the kids are not actors.
Oh, yeah. Well, the kids were great. It really did capture that sort of like, you're a kid, you don't even realize what's going on. You're just... oh, well, let's go play by the creek. It's a lot. It does a good job of like, the kids seem very natural. The way they talk about things, what they say, it feels improvised and yet doesn't feel like improvised, if that makes sense. The only thing is the ending. I won't say what happens. It's not like a spoiler, but I don't want to just be like, here's the ending. But basically, it becomes kind of a different movie. Like, the whole movie is very minimal. There's no score. It's all very diegetic music. And then all of a sudden, it's like, here's the score that doesn't match with anything. And things are happening that haven't really led to anything. And you're like, okay. It just sort of like goes, ah, and you're like, well, okay. It wasn't like, oh, that was horrible.
Right. It was just like, that's different.
That was the end? Okay. He was really great.
Cool.
I'm happy with his nomination.
Good. Well, I'm happy with the next nominee. Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards.
Oh, yeah.
Who I thought was excellent in that movie.
He was excellent.
So, Christopher Plummer, All the Money in the World, which you saw?
No, I still haven't seen it.
Oh, I haven't seen it either.
It was like the last one on the list, so I was like, I just didn't get around to it.
Yep. I love that he was nominated for this.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. It makes me really happy that just was insane. I don't think he's going to win.
No, he already won for Beginners. That's a very Oscar thing to be like, well, he already won.
Yeah, sure.
Recently, so it's
I feel like Sam Rockwell probably has this. I mean, he won every other award.
I mean, he was really great. Him and Woody were both great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of rooting for Willem Dafoe at this point.
Mm.
He was my favorite part of that movie, and he was really great.
Yeah.
I mean, I also, love Sam Rockwell, so, I'm here for that, too.
I personally also like Woody Harrelson.
Oh, I like him, too. But I've loved Sam Rockwell since, Charlie's Angels. He's, one of my favorite people, so I'm like, yay, you, go for it. Where Woody, I feel like, is more famously famous.
Right. We reviewed 3 Billboards. It might not have come out yet, so stay tuned for that.
I'm quite surprised that Michael Stuhlbarg not nominated for any of the performances of the 3.
Isn't that crazy? He's in 3 out of 9 Best Pictures.
That's crazy.
I was like, what is going on?
Getting his own talk about a possible Oscar nomination, please welcome the award-winning Michael Stuhlbarg. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Hey, Michael.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We didn't want to jinx you with that. No jinxes there.
Okay.
I mean, the post, he was what? He was there. It was fine.
Yes.
We'll talk about the post later. Shape of Water, I thought he was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
With his Russian. And he's doing dual accents.
Yeah.
And you think he's one way, and you didn't know where he was going.
You didn't know what his thing was.
I thought he was fantastic.
I thought he was really great.
I guess the more nuanced performance is probably Call Me By Your Name, and that's probably the most sort of obvious one that he would have been nominated
That's like
for.
the Oscar clip.
And I thought he was great, and I'm actually pretty surprised he wasn't nominated.
I'm pretty surprised too
for
that he
Call
wasn't.
Me By Your Name.
Yeah, I agree. Is it Stuhlbarg? Is that what we've?
Stuhlbarg.
I thought it was Stuhlbarg. Yeah.
What did I say? Barge?
Yeah.
Stuhlbarg.
We've never mispronounced anyone's name in this video ever before.
I'm genuinely surprised he wasn't nominated. I think he's fabulous.
I think he's really good, and I think he's really showing that. I mean, obviously, he was in great performances in 3 out of 9. I just don't know how to express that more emphatically.
Well, and what's his name? The brother in Get Out.
Yeah.
Is in.
Yeah.
Redheaded.
Yeah.
Crazy brother.
Yeah. What was that?
He's in Get Out. His name is there's a Caleb in there. It's 3 names, and it's, I want to say Caleb Landry.
Cool.
Something Caleb.
Yep.
He's in Get Out.
Okay, right.
He's in 3 Billboards. He's the ad guy that
really?
sells the billboards. Yeah.
Oh.
And he was in Florida Project.
Wow. So there you go. And the son/brother in 3 Billboards.
Yep.
Was also in Lady Bird.
Right. Lots of. And Timothy Chalamet was in Lady Bird.
In Lady Bird.
Lots of.
Right? It's I was just so they're just casting the same 6 people this year.
It's weird.
It is weird. So then Richard Jenkins' The Shape of Water is the last one.
Oh, it's great.
Really?
I liked him. You didn't like him?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. No, I didn't.
Okay. What didn't you like about him?
I found him annoying. Maybe it was his character.
Oh.
He was fine.
I found him very endearing.
Interesting.
I'm a little surprised he's nominated over a Michael Stuhlbarg.
Sure.
He didn't detract from me, the movie. I found him to be sweet and endearing, and I liked their relationship.
I liked their relationship. I found his character, I think, maybe, I couldn't tell if it was his character that was annoying, or if it was his
What about
acting.
it was annoying?
This, stereotypical, weak, whiny gay guy.
Sure.
You know, it's just nah, I didn't really need that.
I mean, I guess it was, of its era.
Well, it was...
In a way.
Right.
Octavia Spencer also plays a great character, but a somewhat stereotypical housewife who's sort of domineered by her husband.
Sure.
I think that's why they did that.
Right. Was that why he was fired from his painting job?
I think it was more so that they weren't photography was taking over.
Sure.
Well, also, didn't it kind of seem like he was fucking his boss?
Oh.
I thought they were an item, and then they broke up because maybe I'm reading into it, but I got a we used to fuck vibe.
I mean, I would have liked a little more of that. Okay, well, let's really talk about Shape of Water.
I really liked this movie.
I did too.
The easiest way for me to describe it is it was just so Guillermo del Toro. Like, it was so him in every frame. Like, this was like an auteur. You could tell every moment, frame, line, picture, everything to the last detail was planned out.
That's true.
And I just really appreciated that.
Yes.
Like, I was just like visually like, oh my God, you thought about everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is your baby. I mean, and he has gone on record to saying that had this movie failed, he would have quit directing. Because he was like, it was so personal, it was so my baby.
Right.
That it was like, if this was like some sort of horrible failure, he was like, I don't know what I'm doing then. Like, I don't know what this world is then, basically.
This was, I didn't really know what to expect going in.
Me neither. I knew it was lighter than his average fare.
Sure.
Right? Because, like, Pan's Labyrinth is, like, basically a horror movie. Have you seen Pan's Labyrinth?
No, because it's basically a horror movie.
Fuck, it's so fucking good. Pan's Labyrinth is, like, the original Grimm's fairy tales. And Shape of Water is, like, the revised, like, Disney-ified, Grimm's fairy tales. Yes. And you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I really liked about this movie was that it was a fantasy.
Total fantasy.
But it was not graphic, but it was raunchy. It was
an adult.
Vulgar. It was an adult fantasy. Yes.
Like, had this gone real kiddie and all of those little things that made you uncomfortable or made you go, oh, or made you go, this is in this movie?
Right.
Made it special.
I agree.
And I really appreciated that. I did not appreciate the, like, 15-year-old boy sitting behind me who was like, ugh, and I was like, you need to shut the fuck up. Nobody told me about this bestiality. And I was like, go fuck yourself. First of all, it would be like pesciality, because it's not a beast. So fuck you. But also fuck yourself. I was like, get out of here with this nonsense.
Well,
that's what you took away from the movie?
Right.
Fuck you. But I rose above, and I really liked this movie. And I was like, yeah, I hope you're uncomfortable. I hope this makes you have weird feelings about yourself. Yeah.
I liked her. I liked Octavia Spencer. We'll get to them. They're in the next category.
Yes. I mean, there can't be 8,000 people nominated, but I thought Michael Shannon was also fabulous.
I thought he was great as a villain. I mean, I really like him.
He was a fabulous villain who you absolutely hated and who was a fucking asshole and a gross person and really weird. And yet you were intrigued. Like, I wasn't, like, so put off by him that I was like, ugh, I don't even want to pay attention to you.
Sure.
I was like, I'm fascinated by what's happening. And it's really scaring me.
Well, and I liked that,
so I liked that
he as a villain was also the representation of...
like, the government and, like, overreach.
Well, the government and overreach, but also just of, like, the patriarchy and of, like, all of these older times, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he is just a representative of, like, bygone times.
We haven't even talked about the monster.
No.
So basic. I don't even want to call him a monster, though. He's not a monster. The creature. The creature gets stolen from the lab by Sally Hawkins and Richard Jenkins and Octavia Spencer and Michael Stuhlbarg. All of these sort of outsiders, right?
Yeah.
All of these sort of misfits.
Yes.
Michael Shannon it doesn't even occur to him that they could be involved.
Exactly.
Because they're so...
Why am I talking to the fucking help?
Like, it was just like, fuck you. Oh my God, when she says, I know a little bit of ASL. So when she was signing fuck you, I was like, like before everyone else, I was like, yeah, bitch, you do it. She started to do the F, I was like, oh, I know where this is going. And I like it. It all came together. The music, the look.
Yes.
The actual just songs of the era.
Sure.
The cinematography, it just all came together. And there was times when I was on the edge of like, oh, this is kind of weird. Or this is a little kooky. Or what's happening with Michael Shannon in his home life. But because of that, it raised the stakes and it made it an interesting movie instead of just like, oh, another fantasy.
This could have been like really basic and whatever, and instead there was so much artistry in it and so much to say and so much depth and levels that really elevated it. And I think also that's a testament to his directing.
Oh, but we do have to talk about the creature design too, because it was fucking amazing.
It was really cool.
I couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't, and that's really usually, I think a lot of it was practical.
Sure.
Obviously. I mean, some shots when they're floating and stuff, it has to be CG'd, but They got the eyes right.
Yeah.
I felt Doug Jones like through all that makeup, and I was just like, oh my God. I was like so impressed by how good it looked.
It was cool.
It really made me happy.
Good.
It was that perfect combination of like, I don't quite know what you did here. I mean, it's practical, and it's this, and it's that, and
which is the right thing to do.
It's what I love.
You need a firm base that you can then color.
Because if he was all CG'd, it would have been terrible.
It would have been terrible.
You wouldn't have felt the chemistry between them at all. You would
like
have been
Beauty and the Beast?
So I would say this movie is like offbeat. I'm so excited that it's getting the praise that it's getting because I really enjoyed it.
I did too.
I thought it was great. It's a quirky movie.
It is quirky, but I like that.
I really went with it.
You know, it kind of reminds me in terms of like quirky vibe of Amelie.
Totally get me when she's like on the bus. Like with her black hair staring out at the and listening, I was like, oh, this is just Amelie.
Right? Like you could like re-edit this with the soundtrack from Amelie and you'd be like, oh, this is weird.
French subtitles?
Yeah.
You'd be like, ah.
Totally.
And yet it doesn't feel like a ripoff. It just feels like it's in that it lives in the same world as Amelie.
An adult fantasy.
An adult fantasy. We won't spoil the ending, but something happens at the end that happens at the end of lots of fairy tales, and I was like, okay.
Well, let's talk about it, and then we can deal with it.
She's fallen in love with the creature. Does he get a name? I don't think he does.
No.
He doesn't, no. They've fallen in love.
When he looks at me, he doesn't know how I am incomplete.
They see each other not as something that's wrong, but as something that's unique and that's right, because she's always been mute and has these scars on her neck, and we don't know what that's about.
Sure.
We can assume something horrific happened to her at the orphanage. Yikes. But she gets shot and he takes her into the sea, you know, like the creature from the Black Lagoon, like, she's mine now. You know? Okay, yeah, I see what you're doing here and I like it. So they kiss and his magical kiss awakens her.
They've already expressed that he
does have magic.
Has like
or healing powers of some sort.
Because he heals Richard Jenkins' baldness.
Oh,
and
when she gets shot a whole bunch of times and then he's fine and Michael Shannon is like, you are a god. I was like, oh, yeah.
And then he slits his throat. That was a lot.
I liked that it got fucking dark. And
too.
There was like nudity and there was like sex scenes. I was like, this movie is going for it.
She explains how his penis like opens
has a flap.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a pouch.
Sure.
It's like, okay. But I believed it.
Well, and I liked that too because you know that like we've seen it, right? We've seen him stand in whatever, and it's just
not a Dr. Manhattan situation where there's just a swinging dick.
Right, because that would have been awkward. And,
real weird.
Like really weird and distracting.
Yeah, and then if you put him in like a loincloth, weird.
That'd be really weird too.
Yeah.
And so then like okay, they have to have like the
that conversation.
Yeah, they had because otherwise you'd be like, but there's nothing there. What's going on?
Is he just gonna?
Are they scissoring?
Pee on her?
I don't. Oh God.
Like a frog. She's gonna like.
Or like yeah.
Anyway, yes, they've established that,
He
and
can
it
heal.
is a fairy tale, and all of the above. I am just really over this. And then the boy kissed her, and she awoke from her dead sleep, and now I'm just over. It was an it, and I was like, what? I'm ready for that trope to die. Consent, guys, consent.
I mean,
she was dead in this situation. In it, she's in a sleep fog from the clown, and she's like, ah, and then he kisses her, and you're like, no, little boy, no, never without my permission.
You're right, I shouldn't have done that. It was wrong to kiss you, but he didn't wake you up gently. You're right.
I will say this, what I kind of wish had happened in, like, because basically his kiss awakens, like, her gills.
Yeah, so we find out the scars on her neck are, well, and this, too, I had a thought. So Richard Jenkins is VOing the whole movie, and he's the princess and the fairy, you know, he's doing this fairy tale reading of a book-ish situation. And he says she awakens, her scars become gills, so she can go live with him in the sea. And he says, I believe they had a happy ending.
Right.
So I think it's somewhat left open to your interpretation.
Yeah.
Did she really become half fish person? Was she always descendant from a fish? Is that why she can't talk?
Or was it just that, she was shot and he took her into the water and then she's dead?
She just decomposed. It's kind of half empty, half full situation.
Absolutely.
You kind of decide, and it's ambiguous, and I liked that.
Yep.
But I am sort of over this trope of, and then his kiss saved her and awoken her.
I would have preferred that, like, in their lovemaking and, like, whatever, their contact, that he awoke
before she was shot.
Exactly.
Like, she starts to
to notice more stuff happening. Exactly.
What's happening?
Yeah. Oh. But then that would be not
that could be
ambiguous.
like the fly STD situation.
Sure, that's true too. Like, did he put it into her? Was it always there? How come she looks like a human but he doesn't? You know, like that. It would be more complicated.
I would say definitely go see this
movie.
I really liked it a lot. It's weird. And I feel like a lot of people are going to go into it and be like that 15-year-old boy and be like, she fucks that fish guy. And I'm going to be like, look, we might not be able to be friends. I don't know. Like, calm yourself. It was about more than that.
Right. When there's like a communicating merman thing that like shows up, then we can have this conversation about like interspecies breeding. But until that happens, it's just a fantasy and I'm going to let it ride.
Total fantasy, and Sally Hawkins sold the shit out of it.
She really did.
Should we talk about the best actresses?
Yes, actress in the leading role, Sally Hawkins, The Shape of Water.
She was sort of the linchpin of this movie. I mean, some of it is definitely the creature design. Like, if it looked stupid, or if it was CG'd, or if you didn't feel anything from him, would have ruined it. But you had to believe that she was in love with him, and you really did.
Yes.
I thought she was fantastic.
I thought she was really amazing.
Yeah. Oh my god, that like musical sequence all of a sudden, where it's like, and now we're in a ginger Rogers
they're like dancing
musical.
And
and I was like, this is so silly. I love it. Like it was just like, yeah, sure.
This had like the whimsy that La La Land wishes that it could have executed on. You know what I mean?
Somewhat.
Yeah. Like where I was like, oh yeah, this is actually a nice homage.
Even though it's a way darker movie and there's a lot more fucked up shit happening in this movie than in La La Land, it wasn't cynical at all.
No, the romance is real. So she's great. Who else? Frances McDormand, 3 Billboards. This is the toughest category, I think.
Probably. She was fantastic. She was certainly the best part of that movie.
Absolutely.
She was certainly the reason I think that movie works, because for me, the more I thought about that movie, the more on the edge I am about it. Yeah. I'm like, I like parts of it, I didn't like parts of it, I feel like it's a bit confused.
If it weren't for her and her performance, then that movie would have failed. Which is a strong argument for her to win, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it certainly is the case for her to be nominated.
I fucking love her, so I'm here for it. I'm excited, because she's probably going to win. Probably. And if she does, she's going to give a great speech. Yes. So. And she's going to be wearing some crazy dress and be like, I didn't brush my hair because fuck all of you. And I'm gonna be like, I love it. So then Margot Robbie, I, Tonya, which we reviewed. She was also great. She was really great. Yeah. She really was. And the more that I think about it, like the more I was like, yes, bitch, you were great. Oh yeah, she was fantastic. Yeah. This is a hard one. Saoirse Ronan. Lady Bird. I thought she was good. I thought she was good. I don't think she needs an Oscar for Lady certainly Bird. Not. I don't think she's gonna win it. I don't know. She was good. I don't even know. I'm trying to think if there's other performances that I would have nominated over her. Oh, I know who. Who? Vicky Krebs from Phantom Thread. Oh. I think that's how you say her name. Once again, I don't know. It's like Kreips? Krebs? Krebs. Krebs? Krebs. Vicky Krebs? I don't know. Vicky Krebs. We'll talk about Phantom Thread. I thought she was fucking fantastic. I agree. And I think she should be nominated over Shira. That's fair. And then Meryl Streep, The Post. Okay, well, she also can... She could be replaced. I mean... Vicky Krebs should be on that list. I'm mad now. Yeah, there you go. That's totally fair. Do we want to talk about Meryl and The Post? Sure, because that's the only... Oh, it is nominated for Best Picture. I actually really liked The Post. Okay. I don't know... if it was just the state of being, if it was the wine, but I found it emotional. I found it, like, good. I don't know. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was perfectly basic. It was just, like, a Spielberg movie. About, sure. You know, I was, like, not surprised by anything. No. I was pretty bored for a lot of it. I wasn't bored, but... I found it to be very confusing that they decided to make the movie about these investigative reporters when there was nothing to investigate.
Sure.
I found that to be, like, it was as if it was trying to be Spotlight.
Yeah.
We're hunting down leads. Yeah. Or, like, All the President's Men, which it literally, the movie ends where All the President's Men begins. It's like a whole thing or whatever. Go watch All the President's Men. It's a much better movie. I was really confused. These reporters were sitting around with their thumbs up their butts, like, well, we have all these papers. Like, it didn't matter. I was like, it needed to be about the guy from Burnt who stole all the...
and from Brothers and Sisters, who stole all the papers to begin with.
He spent 4 months calculatingly taking out bit by bit, photocopying all of the Pentagon papers. I was like, that's the movie!
And they give him 2 minutes.
He's barely in the movie! I was like, that's the fucking movie!
Well, the other weird thing is that they build it as, like, the Meryl movie, right? Like, it's supposed to be... From what had been written, I had thought it was supposed to be about her and her character, and, like, the Washington Post.
And it's not.
And it's not really. It's more about Tom Hanks.
This just felt so paint by numbers. Like, I thought I was watching a Clint Eastwood movie. I was like, everything's gray and depleted. It wasn't bad in any way, but I was like, who cares? Go watch the Pentagon Papers with James Spader.
Sure. And I mean, I think that's part of it is just that, like, I'm not particularly well versed in this period of history. But this doesn't tell you a lot either.
I thought the movie was more going to be about, like, is she going to lose the paper?
I thought so too. Even from the trailers, it seemed like there was more stuff going on than there was.
They're going public, and she has to appease the board, and it's supposed to be about her finding her voice, right? Yeah. And so, like, in the first meeting, she's all like, I can't, I'm kind of this way, and you're like, oh, okay, she's gonna grow.
Not really.
The only thing she's, at the end, towards the end, she's like, let's do it, let's go, let's do it. And it was like, well, that was the speech? That was the big, she was wearing, the best part about this movie was that fabulous party golden caftan that she was wearing for, like, 45 minutes conservatively of the movie. I was like, yes Meryl. To this caftan. Yes. But I just thought it was, like, seen, been there, done that.
Sure.
And I don't feel like I learned a lot.
I definitely left this being like, I don't know, I guess I should read some books on like,
where it should have been, like, teaching you about what the Pentagon Papers were about, And this whole, there's such a story there that 4 presidents? 5 presidents?
4, I think.
I thought, oh, that's such a good story, too. Like, either make it about the guy stealing all the papers, that, and then, like, he gets them published, and that's the end of the movie. Or make it about these fucking presidents who are like, yeah, our egos are so fucking big that we can't say that we lost this war, so we're just gonna keep fucking sending people over there to get killed, and fuck this.
Well, and wouldn't that have been, I don't know, I think that would have been more groundbreaking.
I don't know, it was a lot of them reading the papers, but not telling me what was in the papers. It was a lot of like, oh my god, can you believe this? Next scene, and I would be like, what was in the papers? Tell me about it. I want to be outraged too about this. Go watch All the President's Men. Go watch Dick. Remember Dick with Kirsten Dunst and Michelle Williams?
Oh.
That, like, fantasy about, like, Nixon and how they're the one, their Deep Throat.
Yes, vaguely.
Oh, go watch that.
And also watch, there's a really great documentary. Oh, I forget what it's called. It's right here. And it's about, like, the Hulk Hogan lawsuit.
Oh, the Gawker thing?
Yeah, but it's, like, really... It's not as much about that as it is, like, this, like, attack on the freedom of the press and libel laws, etc. And that was fascinating and terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's really good. I feel like you might have not been in the right space to be paying attention to this movie.
But also it was, like, not that great.
It was nice.
Sure, it was nice. Sure, this movie was nice.
Yeah.
This movie about, like, the government lying to us for decades about, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to be more impassioned.
Sure.
Maybe it was just, it got off on the wrong foot for me. So it starts, and it's like, Vietnam!
Oh,
CCR's Green River is playing, and I was like, I love CCR, but if I have to hear one more fucking CCR song over Vietnam footage, good! I got it!
So, actress in a supporting role.
Yes.
Mary J. Blige, Mudbound.
Oh, she was great.
She was really good. We saw Mudbound at Sundance last year.
Oh, it was great.
And then I finally saw it. Netflix had showed it to me in, like, a big banner yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now you're going to tell me about Mudbound? Thanks so much.
You really seem to have a personal vendetta.
I just don't like that these movies that get picked up then go nowhere. You never hear about them. And it's like, well, why didn't you tell me about this? I would be interested in this movie. You send me these fucking emails about, you might be interested in this Adam Sandler movie. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I would have been interested in Mudbound. Why? Like, I don't get it.
Mudbound is great, actually. It's very dramatic and it's heavy, but it's really powerful. And Garrett Hedlund is in it.
Yes,
He's
he
like
is.
super hot.
I thought this movie was too long.
But it could be shorter at this point.
No, they didn't change it.
At all?
From what I heard, they weren't allowed to change it or whatever.
I don't remember it being crazy long, but I remember it could have been, shored up slightly.
I remember leaving and liking it and thinking that the performances were the best part.
Yeah, but I remember being like, wow, like that was, it was like intense. Like,
Sure.
Remember the ending? Like, we won't talk about it. Like, it gets crazy. And I
Yeah,
remember being like,
Yeah.
Like, it was good.
It was good.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
It's very dramatic, and Mary J. Blige was great.
Yeah. So then Allison Janney, I, Tonya.
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about. She's fabulous. She's won everything. I still think she deserves.
So it's Mary J. Blige, her.
Yep. Leslie Manville from Phantom Thread.
Ooh, she was good,
great.
but Allison
Janney
Janney
was
was a
better.
showier performance.
Sure.
But Leslie Manville was quite
Oh, she was good.
Thread. I'm still mad about Vicky Krebs, if that's in fact her name.
So then Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer, The Shape of Water.
Yeah,
so I think Allison Janney has it. I mean, Mary J. Blige, I wouldn't be angry if she got it.
She was really good.
Yeah. Allison Janney. So animated feature, The Boss Baby. Can you imagine? I can't believe that was nominated for Best Picture, animated feature film.
Slim Pickens, right?
I guess. The Breadwinner, Coco, which I think should win and will win. It was beautiful and a really good movie.
Yeah.
Ferdinand, we didn't see.
Oh,
and
no.
Loving Vincent, which I wanted to see, I heard was just kind of okay. That like the style, that's the one where it's like about Vincent van Gogh and it's like it's like in the style and they painted like 250,000 like.
Cool.
Yeah. It looked really cool, but I heard that the movie just doesn't hold up to the idea of like, let's paint this thing. Cinematography.
Ooh.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah! Still pissed it didn't get nominated for Best Picture.
I agree. So we reviewed that as well. Go watch that. Darkest Hour.
Cinematography.
I mean,
no.
Dunkirk probably will win.
Oh yeah, that was good. No, I think Blade Runner was better. Cinematography was.
Yeah.
But Dunkirk was really good. I really liked Dunkirk. I really thought it was very powerful and completely engrossing. Which is what I like in a movie, where I forget I'm in the movie theater and I'm like, oh fuck. I feel like I just went to France. You know?
Yes, that was why I didn't want to see it.
Sure, but it's really good.
That's not the trip to France that I really want to take.
Well, sure.
Mudbound, cinematography,
Sure.
and The Shape of Water.
Ooh.
I feel like
I would say for me it's between Shape of Water and Blade Runner.
I agree. I think Blade Runner will probably win since they hardly got nominated for anything else.
Or Shape of Water's just gonna sweep.
Maybe. We'll see. Costume design.
Oh.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh God, no! For that awful dress.
That awful dress. That's exactly what my reaction
Sorry.
was. I saw that. I was like,
rude.
but what about that awful dress?
But like everything else was pretty great.
Sure.
So maybe, but like that awful dress though.
Like for me, that was an automatic disqualifier. You fucked up.
She touched her knee to the ice. So
exactly.
That grade of execution just got lower.
Exactly, -3. Darkest Hour. Costume wasn't really. Makeup, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was authentic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
The Shape of Water.
Ooh.
I think Phantom Thread has a edge.
Pretty big edge since it's a costume movie.
Yeah, and Victoria and Abdul.
Which I haven't seen.
Me either.
But do we want to talk about Phantom Thread?
Yeah, well, let's talk about it now, because I feel like the costumes are a large part of it.
Yeah, so Phantom Thread loved the costumes, and yet felt they were all the same. Mm-hmm. Wasn't as swept away magically, oh, I love it, oh, I love it, I love it, I love it.
Right.
I was really into the lace ones. So she's got like this...
Oh, gorgeous.
Purple, pink, with the Dutch lace on top. And I was like, and then the red dress with the lace pockets, I was like, yes!
Yeah.
Other than that, I was like, these are all very nice 50s.
Exactly. They were subdued.
But I started to think about it a little deeper. So we went and saw Phantom Thread. I kind of loved this movie.
I knew you would.
It's weird as shit.
It's weird as shit.
I loved it. I was like so interested in what was going on, and this is another case of what an auteur. This made me go, oh, I love you, P.T. Anderson. Yes, like I'm so excited that you're like, because Inherent Vice was not my favorite, right? It was not his best.
We reviewed that too.
But then it made me go like, oh yeah, remember fucking There Will Be Blood? Fuck, that movie was great. And I was like, yes! So anyway, it reinvigorated my love for P.T. Anderson because I was like, yes. Starts and you think it's just going to be a movie about this genius man and his fucking muse that he abuses emotionally and is just like distant and cold to her, but then when he needs her, she's available kind of thing. And you're like, starting this movie like, okay, but she seems cool. Like, I kept being like, if she wasn't so cool, I'd be mad at this movie. That's what I kept saying, because I was like,
yeah.
But something's going on with her, right? Because she told it like it was. She didn't take any of his shit, really. I mean, she did and she didn't.
Well, it's like The Secretary.
Exactly. I was like, so it's Secretary.
But like with clothes.
It was like Secretary meets like a Douglas Sirk like melodrama. And I was like, but yes. Like it reminded me of All That Heaven Allows.
Sure.
Remember that Rock Hudson?
Yes.
That Far From Heaven's based on? She's like that housewife and she's bored.
And then they go to the woods and the fabulous cabin in the woods. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So it was like in a way a Douglas Sirk melodrama, but like as subtle as you could make that, which is bizarre. It's like a subtle melodrama.
I was not expecting where this was gonna go.
Oh, I didn't guess.
It wasn't until it got there that I was like, oh, okay, I'm cool with this movie.
I was teetering the whole time. I was like, no. Oh, what's going on? I don't really know what's happening. I don't know how they're going to clear this up. I feel like I have a lot of questions. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. The movie itself is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The clothes are pretty.
I mean, it basically the first hour is just in all those sort of 60s musicals like How to Marry a Millionaire and stuff where it's like, and now we're just going to stop the movie for 5 to 10 minutes and have a fashion show. Cool, right? Like, photo shoot. That happens in so many of those movies where it's just like, and pause for Edith Head's extravaganza, and you're like, yes.
This one we call Looky, Looky, Looky.
And that was the first hour of this movie, pretty much. I mean, there was like stuff going on. We were like, what's this? But also it was basically just a fashion show, and I was like,
This basically was kind of like The Secretary meets Valentino. Did you see that movie?
Valentino.
The Valentino movie? About like him and his gay lover.
I saw one of them, but it was like the Lifetime original one.
Oh, that's like the Lifetime original Coco movie? Did you see that?
No.
Oh my God.
Like Coco Chanel?
Yes.
No.
Oh my God, it's so much.
Well, remember when like 2 Coco movies came out in the same year? That was weird.
Yeah. It's not Valentino, but there is a Valentino movie that is, I think it's called like, I was going to say Valentino and Me, but that's wrong because then there's Dior and I, which might be the one that I'm talking about. There's a lot of fashion designer movies, but the Valentino one is great because Valentino Red is what made me think of it. That one's really good. I don't think it was Versace.
Not the Yves Saint Laurent documentary.
It was the Yves Saint Laurent documentary. No, it wasn't a documentary though.
Oh.
This was a biopic.
The Yves Saint Laurent biopic?
Yeah.
The one with
some guy
in it.
Yeah. It was the Yves Saint Laurent.
Yeah, there you go.
It was like that for me. This was kind of like that. It was like The Secretary meets Yves Saint Laurent, but also like straight and boring, but not boring. It was
interesting because you're watching it like, oh, it's another one of those movies where it's like, oh, does his genius
excuse him for being an
asshole, right? It's that story.
Yes.
And if it's just that story, I'm out. I don't like this.
Exactly.
But it's not just that story.
And
it's her story.
Yeah.
And I was like so here for it. Yeah. And so didn't see where it was going that I was so pleasantly surprised and kept thinking about the movie after the fact. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
To all of this.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. I wouldn't say that I loved it, but I liked it, and I liked it certainly a lot more than I thought I was going to.
I want to see this movie again because I think upon second viewing, I will find it a lot funnier.
Maybe.
Because I was on the edge of like...
hating him?
I don't know if I should hate him, approve of him, and I liked that feeling. Like, I liked that I was going back and forth, but I feel like if I watch it again, I'm going to be like, this is hilarious. Because there was times where I was laughing, and I was like, oh, should I be laughing at this? Like, when she interrupts him with the tea, and he's like, I don't want any tea right now. She's like, well, I just thought it would be nice. Well, I don't want any tea right now. Well, I just thought it would be nice. I'm leaving. Well, you should just leave. I'm leaving already. Well, the tea isn't here anymore, but the interruption still is. Like, that shit was funny.
I mean, it wasn't because he was an asshole.
But she was... in control of herself. Like, I kept being like, but
Sure.
she knows what's up. I don't know. Like, I felt like she held this movie together for me.
Yes.
And I'm really actually mad that she didn't get nominated. Because
Yes.
I thought she did a really great job of, like, being that secret boss bitch.
Basically.
Right?
Basically.
You could also call this movie Loud, Heavy Heels on Wooden Floors. For, like, all the talk of people being too loud for him in this movie, there was no talk of how fucking loud those heels were on the wooden floors.
Sure. Sure.
Also, so his name in the movie, this is why I know that, like, this movie's kind of a black comedy, because his name in the movie is Reynolds Woodcock.
Sure.
And I read about it, and P.T. Anderson thought of the name and laughed so hard for like 5 minutes that he was like, well, that just has to be it, I guess. Like, he was like, it was like kind of started as a joke and then became something real. And I like the idea that, like, the whole time you sort of think he's the genius, the most fabulous, the person everyone looks up
Right.
to, all of these things, and that's really not what's going on. And that's why I think maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the costumes were very beautiful but basic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, isn't that one other just sweet layer of, like, his genius isn't even that great.
Well, no, it's not. And that's why for so long I was angry about it. Because I was like, he's such an asshole and he's not even talented. You're like, whatever.
He's not, like...
Super talented.
Yeah.
But then you're right, it totally is. And then also that he is controlled by women. I love it. I mean, Cyril is the best. I loved her. She was great. Her character was great.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was great. And I was like, yes, bitch, you own everything.
I really like this movie, and it's bonkers, and that's why I liked it.
Yeah, I agree.
Apparently he got the idea for the movie, because you know him and Maya Rudolph are married, which I find fascinating.
Fascinating.
And I love it. So they met on the set of Prairie Home Companion, so basically Robert Altman was like, dying while filming that, and they needed to ensure that, like, somebody would finish it. So P.T. Anderson was on set, like, as the, if he fucking dies, I'll take over and finish directing this kind of thing. And Maya Rudolph is in that movie, so they, like, anyway, it's great.
Love it. I love Maya Rudolph.
But he made it to the end of the movie. It was great.
Okay.
And then subsequently died. Anyway, so he came up with the idea when P.T. Anderson got sick, like, pretty sick, and he said Maya Rudolph, like, was looking at him so tenderly, and she hadn't done that in a really long time because they'd been married for so long, and she, like, had this just really loving, tender look in his eyes while he was sick, and he got the idea from that, and I was like, that's kind of amazing.
I love it. Next up, directing. So, Dunkirk. Duh.
Cool. I love Christopher Nolan. I think I'm just a sucker for Christopher Nolan.
I think you are. I mean, I like Christopher Nolan.
Movies,
he does, exactly.
I think I'm, like, particularly a sucker.
Yeah. Get Out.
Ooh. I don't know if he needs to win an Oscar.
Right.
I'm really excited that Get Out is getting all this attention.
Me too.
And I'm really excited that it's nominated, and if it wins, I mean, if a horror movie wins Best Picture, I would kind of lose my mind, because that hasn't happened since, like, The Exorcist. So I'm, like, totally here for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he needs to win an Oscar.
Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
I get it. And The Shape of Water.
I love me some P.T. Anderson. And Guillermo. I think Guillermo will probably win. Wait, Spielberg isn't nominated?
Spielberg isn't nominated. Oh, so then last is Lady Bird, which we haven't talked about, and we should. Sure. I liked Lady Bird.
I liked it.
And I was excited that I liked it because I don't like Greta Gerwig, but I'm opening up to her.
I liked Greta Gerwig in 20th Century Women.
Sure, yeah.
I liked Greta Gerwig in House of the Devil. She's like, plays a bit part in House of the Devil.
Sure.
I didn't see Frances Ha.
I hated it.
Because I heard that you hated it, and I've heard that other people hated it, and I saw the trailer, and it seems like a movie I wouldn't like.
Well, here's the thing about Greta Gerwig and Lena Dunham for me, where it's like these, like, I don't like Frances Ha, and I don't like a lot of these roles, where it's like, I'm a 25-year-old girl, and I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm just like, fuck this. I don't need this. And you're like,
That's sort of how I felt about Lady Bird. I was like...
But see, at least for me, Lady Bird, first of all, I didn't think she was that helpless. I didn't think that she was that clueless. And also, she was 18.
Totally. I wasn't particularly intrigued by her character. I didn't find Lady Bird, the character, to be particularly interesting. For me, personally. I was way more interested in her friend and her boyfriend. I was like, all of the ancillary characters, even Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, God. Oh my God.
Was the absolute fucking worst. But I was intrigued.
Sure.
I was like, oh, yeah, you're gonna sit on this wall and read fucking Howard Zinn, you fucking pretentious prick. Because I knew how I felt about him.
Sure.
I was like, oh, you're such that guy. You know, where Lady Bird, I was like, you're here. I don't know. I wasn't that intrigued by her character.
I liked her character. I don't know. I liked it where it's like, oh, she thinks that she's more pretentious than or like she's more, intellectual than she is.
Does she?
Yeah.
What was she interested in?
Well, that's the point. But
so maybe that's why I found her uninteresting.
But she thinks that she's like really creative and unique and amazing. Now, is this a commentary on Greta Gerwig? Probably yes, a lot.
I mean, there was this
seemed very personal.
Self-reflexive.
Well, yes. But what I liked about this movie was that at the same time, it was also about the relationship between her and her mom.
I thought the mom and daughter stuff was really spot on.
Yeah.
I just thought she was kind of a brat. I don't know. I was not.
But isn't that the point?
Sure, but do I need to watch a whole movie about that? I couldn't decide if this movie was making fun of pretentious high school people or lifting them up.
I think a little of both.
I guess.
I think a little of both. And I was just
sort of like, I got more into the movie. The first half hour, I was like, ugh, this is another movie. It's like Igby goes down with a girl.
Sounds like a different movie.
Sounds like a different movie. I'm glad this movie is getting made. I'm glad that there's like female voices and that there's a female-driven high school movie story. Like that hasn't been made a lot.
No.
I just feel like this sort of like depressed, pretentious high schooler who's like kind of a dick, figuring themselves out, isn't what I'm the most interested in. And that just could be because I'm a grouchy old lady. I don't know. It was perfectly good.
Yeah.
I don't think this is ever going to be my favorite kind of movie.
No, I don't think it will be.
I think that's the core of it.
I really liked the gay guy.
I really liked the gay boyfriend.
Spoiler alert. I really loved it.
I was into that. Like, that's when the movie...
that's the best scene.
That's when I checked into the movie. When she finds him in the bathroom. I was like, what?
I love that it took you that... So, spoiler alert, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm watching it, and I'm like... He just always seems gay to me. Doesn't he seem gay? He seems gay. And then when he's like, oh, I don't want to touch your boobs because I respect you. It's like, oh, so he is gay. And then he was. But that scene where he like breaks down to her.
That was great.
Was the best scene I thought in the movie. Yeah. And I really liked their friendship and like, or lack thereof. Like it was, she was a bitch. Like she was not a good friend.
No, she was a real asshole to her friend.
Yeah.
And I get it, that happens in high school. Maybe I just related more to the friend because I was more like the friend, you know?
I think, yeah.
I didn't hate this movie. I just wasn't, like, in love with it.
I get it.
When you're that friend that gets left behind.
Oh.
I think that's what it was. I was like, fuck you.
Sure.
Leaving your friend for a more popular girl with a pool. Fuck you.
Yeah. This movie reminded me a lot of Other People. Which is that Molly Shannon movie where she has cancer and it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That movie's better. Different. But like a lot of the tone and like the love letter to your mother and that oddly enough also takes place in Sacramento.
Weird.
And is written by a guy that was a writer in New York. That like so it's like there are a lot of parallels. It's just different stories.
I think Timothy was my favorite part of the movie. Because I was like
such like a,
responding to him.
Sure.
Like, he's just like, that's hella tight.
That's hella tight.
Oh my God, he's the
worst.
When she's
like, oh, I don't have a cell phone. He's like, good girl. I was like, vomit, run away. Like I was just like, but like I don't know. I was reacted to him. I was like, like he was the worst. In the best possible way, if that makes sense.
The worst. I don't think this is the best picture of the year. Yeah. I don't think it needed to get nominated for Best Picture of the Year.
Over I, Tonya, no.
Over I, Tonya.
That's what's crazy to me.
Over Blade Runner.
Over Blade Runner.
For me, I personally...
Over The Big Sick, you know?
Sure, yeah, that's true. I would definitely put Big Sick and Best Picture above Lady Bird.
I'm glad it's resonating with other people and,
sure.
and people are really loving it and that's great and maybe this will make it's always a forward momentum.
Yes.
With female filmmakers and female stories and I'm here for it and I'm excited about it.
The fact that she's
personally
the third woman ever nominated for director for Best Picture or for director in the Academy Awards is insane. That's just insane. Film editing, you ready? Because this is going to throw you for a loop.
Really? So Dunkirk.
Yes.
Great.
I, Tonya. Sure.
Very flashy editing.
Baby Driver.
I mean, it makes sense. I just personally don't agree with it. I understand why it's nominated. Because it was flashy.
But it was bad editing.
I know that.
Shape of Water.
Sure.
Yeah, and 3 Billboards. Sure.
Dunkirk for me.
Okay.
Dunkirk was the best paced.
Interesting.
I mean, it was the shortest. But Shape of Water, even though I really liked it, there was,
there were some pacing issues.
Moments here and there where I went, oh, I'm less invested in, okay, now I'm back in it. Just briefly.
Makeup and hair styling.
So Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour is going to win.
It should win.
Victoria and Abdul.
Still haven't seen it.
Me either. And Wonder, which I didn't see either.
Didn't see either. But I still think Darkest
Hour absolutely. That's, if anything wins from that.
Why the fuck isn't Shape of Water nominated?
Original score. Dunkirk.
Oh, it was really good, and I don't usually say that about Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, I don't either.
But it was great.
It wasn't didn't sound the same as all of his other...
Pirates of the Caribbean, Gladiator. It wasn't dun 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 dun. Oh, that was more Game of Thrones. But no, it was really, really quite good.
Phantom Thread. The Shape of Water.
Ooh, yeah.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
No.
And 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. I feel like that could be good.
I don't know if I like or hate that music.
Sure.
I can't decide. I'm going for Dunkirk or Shape of Water.
Okay. Original song. So we have Mighty River, Mudbound from Mary J. Blige.
I don't remember that song.
Me either. Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name.
I remember liking that song.
Sure.
It's very emotional.
At least it wasn't your Philip Glass score that didn't get nominated.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Remember Me from Coco, which is my probably personal pick.
Loved it. Yeah. That was such a cute song.
Especially, I mean, that was what made it so emotional. When he said, oh my God.
I did cry.
Yeah. Stand Up for Something from Marshall.
What's Marshall?
We Are Marshall?
Is that the... I saw the poster. I feel like it's Chadwick Boseman. And he's on the poster, and he has a hat, and he has a briefcase between his legs, and he's like...
Is he like a plane marshal?
I literally have only seen the poster, but I think that's the poster, and that's all I got.
And This Is Me, The Greatest Showman.
Oh, I want...
Boop, 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 this is me.
That was certainly the best song from that movie.
Yes.
I still don't necessarily...
It was still generic and whatever, and the chorus was inaudible. So, like, whereas Coco, like, for me, especially as an original song...
Maybe they'll throw Call Me By Your Name that bone.
Maybe.
Because they'll be like, oh, we're not really going to give it anything else, so...
So, production design.
Ooh.
Always fun. Beauty and the Beast. Sure. The castle and whatever.
Well, I was thinking about the CG castle.
Well, right.
When he was, like, climbing up all those stairs.
Oh, God, I remember
that. So, no?
Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner, yeah. Yes.
Blade Runner 2049.
So Blade Runner, you don't even need to read the rest of the list, but you can.
Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
Had really good production design.
Had great production design.
But I loved Blade Runner's production design. I thought
it
was just gorgeous and really cool. Sound editing.
So Dunkirk and Dunkirk. Great, move on. For the editing, for the sound
sure,
design. It's going to be Blade Runner or Dunkirk.
Blade Runner, Baby Driver, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, and Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
So Blade Runner and Dunkirk.
There you go. Sound mixing.
So Blade Runner and Dunkirk.
Yep, because it's the same. Visual effects. Blade Runner 2049.
Love it.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Fun.
Kong Skull Island.
Oh boy.
In what world, you guys? In what world?
I mean, it had a lot of design.
Sure.
They're never going to make a King Kong that looks real.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi, no.
No.
And War for the Planet of the Apes, I have no idea, but it looks the same as all the others.
Oh, I heard it was good, but like also I
just don't care. I just don't care.
So like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Wait, Shape of Water isn't not.
For visual effects, yeah, that's weird. So they didn't get makeup or visual effects.
I'm confused.
Adapted screenplay.
Oh boy. So Call Me By Your Name.
Probably. The Disaster Artist. Logan.
Adapted from...
The comic book?
The graphic novel?
Sure. Molly's Game. Oh boy.
So should we talk about Molly's Game?
Yeah.
What else is in the category?
Mudbound.
So Call Me By Your Name will win.
Yeah, I think so.
So Molly's Game.
Oh boy. This was garbage.
It was insane. I felt like I was insane watching this movie.
I felt like I was on all of the coke that they should have showed them doing.
Was
well, right.
Allegedly. This movie is like 200% voiceover. It was like flipped. And I'm walking down the street with the clanking milk bottles.
As I walked home with the dirty dishes clanking inside my picnic basket, all I could think of was Julie.
It was flipped, and I was like, what the literal fuck? Aaron Sorkin, you're like the writer guy, and you're gonna just clutter your movie with VO. I thought I was crazy.
This is a true story, but except for my own, I've changed all the names. I'm Molly Bloom. I'm ranked 3rd in North America. I graduated summa cum laude at Harvard Law School, is 169. My spine was curved at 63 degrees, 52 degrees, which is the same as the sides of the Great Pyramids. That the tightness of your bindings is determined by what's called a DIN setting, a digitally remastered spinal cord, which is being held together by spare parts from an erector set.
There's a lot of problems with it. But the biggest thing is, this movie just fucking lies. The entire frame of this film is a lie.
How so?
She never had an accident.
What?
That's a lie. It never happened. She competed. She was ranked 3rd worldwide or whatever. That's all true. Then she just decided that she was going to retire from skiing and do something else.
Whoa.
The whole fucking frozen branch hit the bindings. Then she was in a coma. All a lie.
That shit is bananas.
And I'm just like,
that was
fuck you.
That was in a way the most interesting part of the movie. Which means, why did you make this movie? If you have to make up the most interesting part about this movie. Oh wow, that's crazy bananas. Well, this is what I kept thinking the whole time. Remember Aaron Sorkin's last...
Steve Jobs.
So this is what's insane to me. This movie is almost 3 hours long. So
long.
In Aaron Sorkin's crazy brain, he thought we needed a pinhole view of Steve Jobs. The Da Vinci of our time. But Molly's Game needs a nearly 3-hour film about nothing.
Nothing.
I could not. I thought this was madness. I thought I was going insane.
I thought it was madness, and I thought it was terrible.
I kept going, there's still another entire movie left. There's still another 40 minutes left. There's still another half an hour. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. This movie's still going on. She tells you every single detail about poker.
Harlan had pocket queens. They were both in 65K pre-flop, queens full of 7s, with 3 rounds of betting in front of them, and rivered into kings full.
And yet I feel like I learned nothing about poker.
Wait, she wasn't nominated.
She wasn't.
Oh.
I mean, she was good.
She was nominated for the Golden Globe. This is the only thing that Molly's Game was nominated for.
Well, I mean, it wasn't very good.
No, but thank God.
The only thing I liked about this movie were the scenes between Idris Elba and her. I thought they had a good rapport.
Sure.
And they're both very good.
Yes.
And they elevated each other's performances because apparently the director wasn't doing that, Aaron Sorkin. They made them better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they made each other better, so their scenes were like, oh, okay. And the rest of the movie, you're like, what the fuck is this?
So I would say you can skip Molly's Game and you're fine.
Oh, God.
You'll save yourself approximately 8 years of your life.
Remember when Michael Cera shows up?
Oh, he's in the whole movie.
No, he's not. He disappears for the second half of the movie. That's an entire length of a movie. So apparently Michael Cera's character in real life is based on supposedly Tobey Maguire.
Oh, really? Oh, my.
Player X.
Oh, that's really
interesting.
That's
like the rumor.
That's kind of more fun.
Yeah.
I wish, okay, I don't want to talk about this movie more, but I will just briefly. What was also really frustrating about this movie was just this constant, like, moral high ground that they were on, where it's like...
It's an Aaron Sorkin movie.
Yeah.
That's the answer to every question you have. It's an Aaron Sorkin movie.
It's decided I don't like Aaron Sorkin.
Anymore. I used to like him.
I never watched The West Wing.
I watched a lot of The West Wing. He wrote A Few Good Men.
Oh, okay.
I think you're right. I think biopics, somehow, he gets confused about what's interesting.
Yeah.
And what is absolutely not interesting, which is knowing the hands of every player that's playing poker. This movie's basically like an audiobook. You could just take the sound from this movie and it would just be an audiobook.
It's true.
You wouldn't learn anything, apparently, that's real. Or accurate.
So, then original screenplay.
Right.
The Big Sick.
Yay!
Get Out.
Yay!
Lady Bird, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
I mean, I hope The Big Sick wins.
I hope The Big Sick wins too, and won the Critics' Choice Award.
Great.
It was a really great script.
And it was a tight script, funny script.
And I love the story too, of like, I mean, especially if they win the Oscar.
Oh my god.
I love it.
I love it.
That's like its own movie in and of itself.
Right? They'll make like an In-N-Out movie. You're like, Andy's gay, you know? I mean, it's not that, but...
Wait, what?
Like in In-N-Out. You haven't seen In-N-Out! Oh, I forgot! In In-N-Out, the whole thing is that it started from when Tom Hanks won the best acting Oscar for Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. He said something to the effect of like, oh, thank you to my high school drama coach, he's gay. Something to that effect.
I mention their names because they are two of the finest gay Americans, two wonderful men.
So In-N-Out is about Matt Dillon is this famous actor who wins the best acting award, and he goes, and this is for whatever Kevin Kline's name is, and he's gay. And Kevin Kline and his whole family are watching on the couch with his fiance, and he goes... And that's where the movie starts, and that's like the catalyst for like, oh, maybe I am gay.
So we're talking about Best Picture?
Okay, we're here.
We're here. Call Me By Your Name.
Okay.
You guys know my feelings about it. Darkest Hour.
Okay.
You also know our feelings about it. Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Get Out.
Yeah.
Lady Bird.
Yeah.
Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
The Post.
No.
The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
And 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah.
I feel like now is a good time to just address the comments on our Get Out review.
Oh, sure.
I'm just going to say this. The symbolism wasn't lost on me.
No.
I just didn't understand from a filmmaking perspective why it was there.
I didn't understand logically within the context of the characters and the plot that was going on. Why certain things were there. It seemed like it was only there for symbolism. One of the best horror movies to come. I hope this changes the genre. I hope that this... I'm so excited a horror movie is nominated for Best Picture.
Like, I hope he makes more movies. I'm sure he will.
I really like this movie. I just had some questions about what exactly was going on in a few scenes. And so people took it really seriously and decided that we were racist.
It's not true. I just had questions. I still don't know really the motivations of that family.
No, I still have questions, and maybe that's good.
That's fine, yeah.
But yeah, I just have thoughts, and it's not a perfect movie.
No.
None of these are perfect movies.
No.
For me personally, Shape of Water, Phantom Thread, and Get Out are my top.
Okay.
I think, unless I'm forgetting something.
I would put 3 Billboards somewhere up there, but that was also not a perfect movie.
No, I had a lot more problems with 3 Billboards.
The Post we definitely can take out.
No.
Lady Bird, I think we can take out as Best Picture.
Yeah, not Best Picture.
Call Me By Your Name. I know so many people love that movie and want it to win. I don't get that, but that's fine.
It was. I liked it more than you did.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I don't think it's Best Picture.
Right. I feel like I should watch it again, but the prospect of that just makes my skin crawl.
I mean, but then you get to see the peach fucking scene.
That's true.
So, like, yay?
I did see part of it. I remember him
for you?
popping the pit out of the peach.
Gross. We're still talking about this. I'd rather not. I'm just thinking about the sweat and the dirt.
Oh, God, yeah.
In the attic.
Mm-hmm.
I would be happy with Shape of Water, Phantom Thread, or Get Out getting the win. I would be really excited for Get Out to win.
I would be really excited for the prospect of what that means.
Really cool. I feel like Shape of Water is going to win.
Yeah.
And I would be really excited about that too. A bunch of my favorites aren't even on the list.
Well, sure. I would put Blade Runner up there because I really, when I saw that movie, I was like, this is another auteur.
Oh, just
like
in perfect control of every fucking frame. Did you hear that he's now going to remake Dune? I love that Denis Villeneuve was like, I'm going to take this weird shit that you like the look of, but it was a mess of a movie, and make it a great movie that you like the look of. I'm like, so here for it.
I'm pissed that he wasn't nominated for director.
That's a mess.
Right? I don't know why that movie really just got so overlooked. I know it was long, but I didn't mind it.
So was fucking fucking Molly's Game.
Right?
I mean, it didn't get nominated for Best Picture either, but Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm still watching it. Like, it's still going on somewhere, and I'm still hearing stats about the cards and the skiing, and it was, like, haunting me for days. I was like, shut up! I kind of hope Shape of Water just fucking sweeps.
I think it might, to be honest, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
so there you have it. I mean, thank God La La Land is somehow not renominated this year.
Oh, boy. I mean, nothing will top last year's Oscars.
Oh, my God.
That was some crazy shit.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To the Oscars.